Yo, welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is April the 29th. We have 4 games, back to 4 games on the NBA slate for today. Hopefully we can make some cash, man. Hopefully we can make some cash. I appreciate you all for tapping in as always. Let's jump into it. Yesterday, let me just double check to make sure I even have the I don't have the recap page up because I didn't bet anything yesterday. There was a couple things on the short list. I ended up not pulling the trigger on anything. Boy, did we see an absolute massacre in Miami last night. I thought that Miami would be able to hang around and play with some pride. They decided that they were going to give up and just go. I'm so glad I kept my money in my pocket because I wanted to take Miami thinking that Cleveland was going to sweep, but it wasn't going to be like that. And they got absolutely smoked. Also probably wanted the later points with the Warriors last night. I did not. Glad I did not do that because they ended up not covering the spread last night, 3.5, 4. They didn't cover the number. A couple things that we talked about as far as player props didn't do well for me either. So it would have been a bad night for myself. I know Draymond threes went over, but I like Jabari over his points. That didn't win. Davion Mitchell over his points and assists. That was also a loser. So I would have lost some money yesterday. Glad I kept my money in my pocket and stayed on the sideline. Let's go through a couple comments real quick, and then we'll get into it for today. G. Harris says Miami should be giving out refunds to anyone who bought tickets to that game. My goodness. Yeah, they absolutely should. They got steamrolled, man. It wasn't even close. Good morning, Algina. She says, let's find some winners in cash today. How did Miami get this far again? We got to remember the bottom of the Eastern Conference was not that good. Chicago, not a good defensive team. Atlanta, not a good defensive team. So, yeah, they weren't. Wasn't a lot of good teams in the bottom of the East like it was in the bottom of the West. What up, Rick? Says for real, Miami looked like high school players. They absolutely did. Good morning, LJ. Says Jalen Green will be gone next year. Trust me. Rumors for Ja Morant or Durant will be a Rocket next year. We also talked about Jalen Green under his points prop last night. What up, LJ? What up, Justin? Appreciate you for tapping in. As always, Vario says cashed on Draymond over 1.5 threes. He hit them 2 threes with 10 minutes left in the first quarter. It was 10:40, I think, in the first quarter. 1 minute, 20 seconds. Draymond knocks down 2 threes and can't buy another basket the whole rest of the game. Some classical Draymond stuff for you, man. Good morning, Marquise. Jelly says, morning, everyone. Let's cook the books. Absolutely. What up, Prolific says, good morning, Chris. 1, 2, 3 Cancun for the Heat. Books wouldn't even let me bet on them live. Yeah, the book said, you know what? We don't even know what to do with this one. It wasn't looking good for them at all. Good morning, Tasha. Just finally able to catch a live show. Appreciate you for tapping in. Helping Hand says all my parlays missed because one damn ticket put $1 on all of Miami unders, and of course that hits. That's a fact. If you would have did that, yeah. But it's another reason why we manage our bankroll, especially with the parlays. I mentioned this, and I'm going to continue to mention it, but I am live on Playback now. You guys can check me out over on Playback. Use the link in the description and sign up for a Playback account. We'll go live probably for one of these games throughout the week, and then we'll definitely be live again on one of the weekend games that we get as well as we start to get into the second round of some of these series. So there's a link in the description. We had some fun on Saturday. Hopefully we can do it again. Check out that link in the description, and let's jump into it for today. So first up, as we do always, we have jaXon, AI sports betting tool. Use that promo code ChrisBeCappinn in the description of the video to get 50% off whatever tier that you choose to sign up for. If you're interested, yesterday jaXon went 1-1, I think it was. The under on the Miami Heat and the Cleveland Cavalier game was a loser. I think that's what jaXon liked. Let me just double check. I think that's what it was, though. Under. And the player prop bet was a winner. The player prop bet was Steph Curry under his 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And that was a winner. Brandon Brzezinski had a big game. Jimmy Butler came back. So, yeah, jaXon did spit out a winner with Steph Curry under. As far as today's prompt, same thing. What are the best underplays in the NBA? One total and one player prop based on playoff stats. jaXon likes Paolo Banchero under 29.5 points in this spot. Says Banchero has been a high volume scorer for the Magic, but his efficiency has been inconsistent. While he has cleared 29.5 points at every Orlando loss this series, Boston's defense tightens up in elimination games. The Celtics rank 7th in defensive efficiency and have been effective at limiting opposing stars in critical moments. With Jrue Holiday back in the lineup, Boston's perimeter and interior defense will be more formidable. All right, let me double check something real quick. So recent trends, Banchero has averaged 28 points per game in this series, just under the line. His reliance on free throws, 34 attempts in 4 games, could be mitigated by Boston's disciplined defense. So yeah, jaXon likes Paolo Banchero. I hadn't looked at that one, if I'm being honest, to see what jaXon even thought. But yeah, under 29.5 points for Paolo Banchero. That number is a little high, especially given the pace, but we know Paolo Banchero is the only score that they really have, him and Franz. So we'll talk about the game in a second. jaXon also likes the under in that game, Orlando-Boston, under 199. Says the series has been defined by low-scoring games with totals of 189, 209, 188, and 205 in the first 4 matchups. The slow pace, 89.75 possessions per 48 minutes, the lowest in the playoffs, has limited scoring opportunities. Boston 7th in defensive efficiency. Orlando allowed just 106 points per game themselves in the playoffs. Both teams have emphasized defense, especially elimination scenarios. Playoff intensity should be there. jaXon likes the under 199. So Paolo Banchero under 29.5 points. Orlando Boston under 199. And I didn't see that Jrue Holiday was going to be back. That's the one thing I wanted to look into. Looks like from my notes that Jrue Holiday is still out, and that's what I thought I saw yesterday as well. Let me double check all of the injury report, because we do got, before we jump into these 4 games, we might as well make sure we got everything right on the injury report, all the updated news on the injury report for this beautiful Tuesday. So let's do just that real quick, make sure I'm not missing anything, and then we'll jump into it. So yeah, Russ, Michael Porter Jr. questionable, probable. Benedict Mathurin questionable. Nesmith probable. Jrue Holiday is out, as I thought. Jaylen Brown is questionable. Isaiah Stewart is questionable. So those are the injury reports for today's game. And that is what jaXon thinks is going to happen with Jrue Holiday. Maybe jaXon knows something that we all don't. We shall see. Let's jump into the matchups for today. I put these lines in yesterday, so I do need to double check them and make sure that they are accurate. This one is not. In the total, wow. Totals come down 3.5 points. Which I do think makes a little bit of sense. I as far as the total goes in this game, I think if I'm betting it, I'm probably just gonna bet it live. Game 4, we saw the first quarter, a high scoring first quarter. Both teams almost got to about 40 points, and I'm gonna update this so that it reflects the live line. But we saw both teams, pretty efficient in the first quarter. Whenever you see these two teams have an efficient quarter, especially if it's both teams, you typically want to bet that next quarter to go under, no matter what the total set at as far as total points, because it's going to slow down. These are the slowest paced teams. I've been saying it all series. So 196.5, that's a super low total. Jaylen Brown, I think, will be out there. I think without Jrue Holiday, they want to go ahead and get the series over with, especially given that Cleveland has already got Miami up and out of the way as well. So I do think we see Boston win the game. Now, do they cover the spread? It's really, really difficult for me to get to a minus 11.5. I think if I had to play the spread, I'll be looking towards Orlando. When I went through and looked at it, game 3 to game 4 differences, Boston, which we cashed on Boston, it actually had 3 plays in the game. Only ended up betting 1 officially, but it was 3-0. It was Jason Tatum, which we'll talk about in just a second, his double-double. It was Boston first half minus 3.5, and it was Boston minus the 6.5, which was the official play. So game 3 to game 4 differences was kind of what I thought it would be. Boston was a -7 on the offensive glass in game 3, but a +4 offensive rebound on the offensive rebound glass in game 4. Boston also committed 11 turnovers in game 4 compared to 21 in game 3. Game 3 saw 27 fast break points to combine. Game 4 saw just 17 combined fast break points. Boston also gave up 26 points off their turnovers in game 3 and only 8 points off their turnovers in game 4. So I was expecting Boston to not turn the ball over, and that's what we saw. Boston's a team that typically takes really good care of the basketball. Boston only hit 9 threes, 9 of their 31 threes, and finished at 29% from the 3-point line. Orlando continued to shoot less than 27% from the 3-point line for there. I think it might have been I know it's the second game straight, might have been their third or fourth game straight. So there are some trends that do back the over in these elimination type games, especially, with a big favorite, double-digit home favorites in the first round that are up 3-1 in game fives. They are 16-8 to the over, about 66%. But this one, to me, feels like it could, I just don't want to bet a total, especially it was at 200, now it's down to 196.5. I do think the longer the series goes on, the more Boston figures out Orlando. Orlando's still going to be physical. They're still going to run Boston off the three-point line. So I don't know. I don't really know what to do with the total. I would lean towards Orlando. I think 12 points is just a lot, especially with the way that Orlando plays you to the wire. And all of these games have pretty much been the same. I think Orlando can keep it within the number. They haven't been blown out in any game. And I kind of think that they could keep this one close as well. So as far as player props, we'll go back to – and I handicapped maybe 4 or 5 player props yesterday. I didn't bet any of them because I kind of wanted to see I kind of just ran out of time, honestly, to make the bets. I was in some transition throughout the day yesterday and didn't get a chance to actually lock up any of them in. Let's just go look real quick. I have all of them in my notes. Let's just go look and see what Jason Tatum double-double is real quick. So we'll go over to Outlier, as we always do. There's a link in the description for a 7-day free trial. Let's go look at Mr. Tatum real quick. His double-double, we talked about it in the last game. He finished with 14 boards. Let's see what his double-double. I think I saw it yesterday at minus 130. Looks like the best odds right now for Tatum double-double. Let me just get an updated line real quick. Double-double for Tatum. Minus 120. So the odds actually got better. This was minus 130 on FanDuel last night. And it's minus 120 this morning. So you can see, I mean, really what you're betting on is him to really get the boards. He's had double-digit points in, 10 of his last 10 games, coming off back-to-back 36 and 37-point games. But really what you're betting on is the rebounds, which is, let's see, right here. Rebounds sit at 9.5. He had 14 in the last game. Back to 2 of the last 3 games, he's had 14. You see the rebound chances are high. Orlando misses a lot of shots on average. So 23 rebound chances in two of the last 3 games. If he's going to get close to 20 rebound chances, I do think that Tatum's going to grab at least 10 boards. So I think Tatum double-double is absolutely in play again today. That's probably what I would be betting in this one. I also think Boston's bench plays a little bit better. They struggled. They really, really struggled in game 4. Really didn't provide any help. Jason Tatum did a lot of the heavy lifting by himself. So I kind of expect Boston's bench. Pritchard, I think, finished with 0 points. They got some scorers that can come in. Sam Hauser didn't do much. I think their bench plays a little bit better in today's game. So maybe looking towards some of those guys. I'm not sure if Jason Tatum will need another 37-point game for them to be successful. But yeah, Sam Hauser had 6. Lou Cornett didn't score. Peyton Pritchard had 0. So that's my thought process on that game. I think the biggest lean that I have in the game, I haven't bet anything, would be Orlando plus the points. I think that they can keep it within 12 and not get absolutely blasted. They're not a team, in my opinion, that will give up. So that's my thought process on that game. Let's see what you guys are thinking. We'll move over to the next. What up, Peasy? Top of the morning, brother. Appreciate you for tapping in. Good morning, Swish. Says good morning, everyone except the Heat. Holiday is not back. User says I can't take Paulo under. He shoots 100 shots a game. Yeah, Paulo does shoot a lot. What up, Malik? Says Warriors. Was on the Warriors last night. Probably was on the money line. Good morning, Riz. LJ says Boston doesn't cover spreads after ATS win. We know this already. They have not. A couple of those games they have not. Let's see. Brian says, what's up, Chris? I like all the favorites today except this one. Orlando plus 12. That's a lot of points. Magic gonna bring max effort. That's a fact. I don't expect them to roll over at all. Now, could you see Orlando potentially not, like, they could bring max effort and still not be able to throw the ball in the, throw a rock in the ocean? So that's the only way I see Orlando not covering, is if they, are atrocious shooting the basketball, even more than they've already been, which we know Orlando, they can get into that mode where they just literally can't score the basketball. And that wouldn't surprise me if we saw that. Real quick, if we look at the full series, This series overall, they are shooting 43% from the field, and they're shooting 28% from the 3-point line. They're averaging 94 points in the 4 games that they've played so far. So that wouldn't surprise me if Orlando, really started to struggle to score the basketball as this, series goes on to a 5th game. They just scored 95 and 98 points, and both of those games were at home. So, yeah, it's kind of tough. They also got an 86-point game in here as well. So outside of getting to 100 one time, Orlando's offense has really, really struggled. Larry says, Chris, I kind of like the Magic. Closeout games are always tough. Don't look at the Heat last night. Now, that's a fact. He said this is the Grizzlies and the Thunder closeout game, and I would agree with that as well. Justin says he'll play Celtics team total at 105. Okay. Tatum double was plus 100 yesterday. Hate the books. I didn't even see plus 100. I saw minus 130. But last game it definitely was. We talked about it. Good morning, Tariq. Says looking for a winning day on my birthday. Happy birthday, my boy. Hope all is well with you, man. Appreciate you for tapping in, Tariq. Enjoy the birthday, man. Hopefully you get some birthday love today and get celebrated, and you get a chance to celebrate. Good morning, Beach. D Bookie says Celtics by 20 tonight, so likes to blow out. Now Ellie says Magic will get blown out. Celtics minus 15. So a couple people liking that angle. I'm not with you guys on that one. Derek White and Tatum threes. Couldn't talk anybody off some Derek White. He's been absolute money this whole series. No Drew Holiday equals more Derek White. Couldn't talk you off. What up to my guy, Sai? Excuse me. DJ Prop says, I think this game will be a lot like game 1. Celtics will get whatever they want at home to finish the series. I don't think I disagree with you guys thinking it's going to be a blowout. Really looking forward to this WNBA though. I am in preparation mode for WNBA. Just so you guys know, already started looking into, listening to some of these post-practice interviews with, the training camp starting. The media is starting to put out stuff, and I'm absorbing it all. All right, let's move over to the next one. Pistons and Knicks. Double check this line. 5.5, 214. This is exactly where it was at yesterday. So 5.5. Gotta ask yourself, man. Does first of all, does Detroit give themselves a chance by not turning the basketball over? That's the problem I have with Detroit. I was on the Pistons in the last game, and in my opinion, the reason that they lost the game was because they couldn't stop turning the ball over. The offense also got very, very stagnant in the after getting up. I think they were up 8 or 9 points in the fourth quarter. Jalen Brunson puts on his best Houdini act and just reappears in the from the locker room and comes back out and looks like Michael Jordan in 1991. Detroit had nothing for him. Now you got the closeout game for the Knicks. Do I think that they win? Yes, I do think that they win. Do I think they cover? I don't know. I think 5.5 is right about where I would have it. Could I see? I don't think Detroit's the type of team that's going to give up either. The more and more I thought about the game, the more and more I kind of think Detroit early, and then the Knicks, probably finish them off in the second half. For whatever reason, Detroit has struggled to finish, and we talked about that. Even on Sunday, when I told you guys I was taking Detroit, I said, man, I do think Jalen Brunson is the best player on the floor in the clutch, and that's what we saw. Cade Cunningham is really, really good, but I mean they just struggle with protecting the basketball. Also, players, if you say that Jalen Brunson and Cade Cunningham are the best 2 players on the floor in this series, I think A and B, C, D, and E probably all play for the Knicks. And I think that that's a big part of this series, in my opinion. When Malik Beasley can't make a shot, it's really, really difficult for Detroit to score the basketball. When Tim Hardaway Jr. is out there jacking threes and his shot's not falling, it's just really hard to rely on anything. And the craziest part, when I was looking back through the numbers, is that Detroit actually dominated the Knicks on the boards again. They were plus 16 on the glass. 54-38 was the rebounding advantage. They just couldn't stop turning the ball over. 19 turnovers again on Sunday. Detroit, for Detroit, the Knicks only had 10. It's really hard for me to back teams, especially young teams that, struggle in that regard. Tobias Harris, not consistent enough for me, picking up the early fouls. not being able to be out there for his team. What I will tell you guys is dogs on the brink of elimination coming off a loss, they are profitable. That would say take Detroit in this spot. 41, 31, and 2 against the number 57%. And road dogs getting 6 points or less in game 5 on the brink of elimination. 13, 8, and 1 against the spread. That's 62% as well. So it's some strong numbers that do back Detroit in this spot. I think it's going to be a pretty ruckus crowd in New York. They understand that, this isn't the Detroit Pistons of old. This Detroit team is really, really good, and they probably should have won game 4. Probably should have, potentially could have won game 1 if they don't allow the Knicks to go on a 21-0 run. So much as I like Detroit, I do think that, they just have some glaring issues with their ability to be able to score the basketball outside of Cade Cunningham. So when you can throw really good defenders at Cade, it can, really just stagnate their offense. So I say all that. I still kind of lean Pistons plus the 5.5. Have not made a bet on it. I think if I like Detroit, I kind of want to get in early just because, they can run out of gas late. They can, start to turn the ball over late as well. As far as player props in this game, I had trouble because I kind of want to fade Cade. I know it's an elimination game. Cade numbers, if you've been watching the Knicks play, how they've been guarding them. They've really been trying to take the ball out of his hands. So his assists have been going over, but his points have been actually going under. 26.5, I think, is the number. He stayed under that in both games, actually in Detroit as well. So Detroit is living with the Malik Beasleys and the Tobias Harrises and the the Tim Hardaway Juniors of the world, the Dennis Schroeders of the world, beating them offensively and just taking the ball out of Cade's hands. So I kind of lean Cade under his points. I also lean who else did I have in my notes? I think Thompson, Sir Thompson, under his 8.5 points. The number was minus 125 on ESPN Bet. He's under in 3 straight games versus the Knicks this series. Matter of fact, I'll pull this up so you guys can see it real quick. But yeah, that was another player prop that was on my short list. I'm not sure if the number has moved or not. Let's just go double check real quick. So back to Outlier just momentarily. All right, so Sir, his points was at 8.5 yesterday. And it's still at 8.5. So this was minus 125. I didn't get the updated number for today, but you can see he's really struggled recently. 5, 8, 7, and 8 points. It's highly correlated with his minutes going down as well. 20, 18, and 21. And so under in 3 straight games, minutes are going down like I just showed you guys in the last 3 games. When he's playing against the top half of the league defensively, we know the Knicks are a top 10 defensive rated team. And he's playing 20 minutes or less, which, we can kind of anticipate maybe he plays less than 20 minutes, especially if the Pistons need offense and not necessarily, you can't guard Brunson anyway. He's under in 5 of his 7 games when he's playing against the top 10 defense, and he's playing right about 20 minutes or less, averaging just 7 points per game. So lean to Sir Thompson under his points. I may end up getting there, putting a little bit on it. I don't like that it's super juice, but I think Detroit early is the way I would play this one. I do think that they come out with a fight. I don't think that they're just going to roll over and play dead. I think that they also fight. The Knicks will win the game, in my opinion, but I don't think it'll be easy. Detroit plus 3 first half, and Sir Thompson under his points prop at 8.5 would be the ways that I'm playing this game. Yeah, that's my thought process on this one. Let's see what you guys are thinking. And I'm not sure, I'm pretty Jalen. We know Jalen. If you know, Jalen Brunson probably went to the back and got a crazy injection in his ankle the other day, and probably felt terrible yesterday, and they're probably gonna get another injection tonight and just go out there and look to close them out. And I think that they do that tonight. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. DJ Prop says, I don't trust Tim Hardaway Jr. to shoot threes well, 3 games in a row. That's a fact. I don't either. I would be fading Tim Hardaway Jr. I think the last time he was in the Garden, he shot the ball really terribly. Caden Brunson over there points for Sheed. I don't really like it. Malik says, I'm a Bulls fan, Cup of Joe, so very happy about the ending for the Heat. Justin bet the Knicks minus 1.5 games pre-flop. Yeah, I don't know if they get there, Justin. I really don't know if they would have got there. But game 4 is over now. Game 4 is over. Was it a foul? Absolutely. Does it do Detroit any favors calling it a foul after the game? Absolutely not. But it goes that way, man. Good morning, Brian. Appreciate you for tapping in. Let's see. Tariq says you have to go Karl Anthony Towns threes. He has been hitting. I couldn't talk you off of that. Mark says he likes over. I'm kind of indifferent on the total. I think the pace is going to slow down. What we've seen so far in the series is that the teams have really, the Pistons specifically, have really struggled to score the basketball. So you can get over 213 right now because the total is actually going down. So I don't know who's betting it down, but the total is going down right now. I see 213.5 on the board. She says Knicks get it done. I think they get it done as well. Nally says the Pistons cover, but the Knicks win. Kate over his points. Lingowick says, I see the Pistons getting the ball out of Brunson's hands early, so give me Cat over 22.5 points. OG over his 16.5 points. So a little bounce back for OG. He did not play well in the last game. Defensively, he played well. Offensively, he wasn't really doing much. Malik Beasley had Miles Bridges had a pretty good game. Mikal Bridges had a pretty good game. What up, Dom says I will be at the Bucks funeral. Pacers -7.5. I knew that was coming. Dom's riding with them Pacers, man. Josh Hart double for LJ. Pacers today. We haven't gotten to that game yet, so I won't talk about those comments. Knicks have been getting a lot of help from the refs as well. I kind of think it's been going back and forth. Both teams been playing physical and fouling each other a lot. Good morning, Mitchell. Tariq says live bet the Knicks if the Pistons are up. I agree with that. Sean says 0 for 9 Tim Hardaway Jr. Okay. Like a Sir under points, rebounds, and assists at 14.5. It is kind of sweaty because he will be out there, but and I couldn't get there with the rebounds because he is a pretty good rebounder, Malik, and the Pistons have won the rebounding battle I think pretty much every game this series, so couldn't quite get there. But I do think I think the Pistons can keep it close early, and I like a Sir to stay under his 8.5 points. Those would be my top looks in this game. Good morning, Jose. The bookie says Tobias Harris bounced back today, like some over his points tonight. Brian says Detroit, New York. These two teams are so streaky, it's hard to watch them. Missed shots for 5 minutes straight. I'll take New York first quarter. Detroit comes out nervous again. Maybe. I don't think so. I think Detroit, if they're gonna have a chance, it's gonna be early. That's just my thought. All right, next game up, we got Pacers and the Bucks. This is 7.5. Couple eights on the board. Total come all the way down from 225 down to 222. And it's down to 221.5 on a couple books, and it's open 6.5. So best of the number has long been gone. I didn't even see it when it first came open. The Bucks absolutely went in and smoked the Pacers in that last game, specifically in the second half. You saw the Pacers went in and smoked the Bucks in that second half. You saw the Bucks really just run out of offense, and that's what has been a problem throughout the whole series, is that Brook Lopez continues to be on the floor. He can't guard anybody. He's gone under his points prop in back-to-back games, only 15-minute play in both games as well. So they just having fun with Brook Lopez out there. Whether they shoot the wide open three or they get downhill and get to the rim, it's always a mismatch when Brook Lopez is on the floor. The problem is, if you take Brook Lopez off the floor, defensively, they don't get that much better either. The Pacers offense has just been able to get whatever it is that they want in this entire series outside of game 3. In the second half specifically, I do think the Pacers win the game. 7.5 is a lot of points to lay, but I just worry about the Bucks being able to score the basketball. The Bucks are a 3-point shooting team, and now you're without Dame. So who is that reliable, consistent target on the Bucks that's going to go out here and help Giannis score the basketball? I just don't see it on the team, man. Kuzma, he's a fade in my opinion. So it's a big number, but I didn't play the game. I'll lean towards Pacers minus the 7.5 as well. I do think you could potentially look at a over for this game. I know that the total is dropping. I just think that I think the Pacers won't care as much about their defense, and I think that they'll be able to score on the Bucks. They have been able to score on the Bucks in pretty much every game that they play so far. So real quick, I just want to go. I want to give you guys the offensive efficiency numbers for the Pacers in all 3 games so far. So real quick, just bear with me while this loads. All right, so game number 1, they had an offensive efficiency of 122. Game 2, they had an offensive efficiency of 126.8. And game 3 in Milwaukee, they had an offensive efficiency of 140. So I kind of think the Pacers will be able to score the basketball. Not really expecting the Bucks to play a lot of defense. They've proven that they can't stop this team. So I lean over. Pacers team total. I think the Bucks will be able to contribute a little bit. Let's see. Pacers team total specifically, if you wanted to not include the Bucks, is 114.5, 115.5 on some books. Yeah, I think that they can get to 115. I do. They had 129 in game 4. They had 123 in game 2 and 117 in game 1. So they've gotten to their team total in 3 to 4 games that they played so far. Let's go player prop looks in this game. There were a couple that kind of stuck out to me. First up, we have Miles Turner. We talked about this one on Sunday. Let me just get to Miles. All right, so Miles Turner under his 5.5 boards. He finished the game, I think, with 4 or maybe 5. Let's see. Yeah, he finished the game with 5, but this is the reason why I like it. You can see that he just haven't been rebounding the basketball well at all. All 4 games he's played against the Bucks so far this series, he's under in all 5. That game against the Cavs, he also went under as well. You can see his rebound chances are 11 or less in all 4 of these games as well. And when I was looking through it, and I talked about this on Sunday in the Sunday game, he's Miles Turner is actually under 5.5 boards in 18 of his 21 games this season, where he gets 11 rebound chances or less. He's right at 11. You can see in 2 of these games so far in this series specifically. So if it's a blowout, Miles Turner will be on the bench. He probably won't get the boards. I like Miles Turner under his 5.5 boards for this game. I also looked at. Let me see if I can bring up. Nembhard. I looked at Nembhard under his 4.5 assists as well. I'm not sure if I'll get there on this one, but if we look at Nembhard assists, we can see that he has had 5 in 3 of the 4 games. He only had 2 in the last game, but Nembhard is actually under. If you go look at his potentials, right? Because this is all based on numbers. You can see that he's at 8 assists in 3 games, and he's gotten to 4.5 assists in all 4, but just 3 assists in that last game. If first of all, if it's a blowout, Nembhard could be on the bench, but also Nembhard is actually under his 4.5 assists in 12 of the 30 games. I'm sorry, he's under in 18 of the 30 games that he's played, 60% when he doesn't get to non-potential assists. And these are games that I factored in with Tyrese Halliburton playing. Like I said, he's had 8 or fewer potential assists in all 4 games this series. So looking at Nembhard based on, just some analytical numbers. And then last but not least, we got to talk about this guy. 1-2-3 Cancun. 1-2-3 Cancun Kuzma. Got to be looking at Kuzma to go under his points plus rebounds. This was the number that I liked a little bit more than just the points or the rebounds specifically. And this has dropped. So this was 13.5 last night. It may still be some 13.5s out there, but Kuzma under in back-to-back games. You can see here 12 and 3 in the last game. Kuzma had 12 points in the series. 12 points in the I'm sorry. 12. So he had 12 points in game 2. He had 9 points in game 3. So I couldn't talk anybody off taking his points under straight at 9.5. However, the reason why I wanted to include Kuzma rebounds, they were at 3.5 and they were juiced to the under. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. So rebounds for Kuzma, 3.5. Look at his boards. The dude has not grabbed 4 rebounds since May the 8th. So it's been 21 days since Kuzma has had 4 rebounds. So I would want to include the rebounds in there as well. Like I said, the number was super juiced. So I think you just include his points in there. Kuzma had He's going under 4 rebounds and like you can see here, 7 straight games. Just not a great rebounder. You also see Kuzma minutes drop. So at this point, Doc and Doc trying to find any kind of resource that he can over there. So you've seen his minutes drop from 30 to 16 to 20 in these last couple games. He could be on the bench sitting beside Glenn at the end of this one as well. So Kuzma under, if you can find a 13.5, I would put the rebounds and assists together to play Kyle Kuzma under is what I would be looking at in this one. So a couple different player prop looks. Like I said, I capped all these yesterday. I didn't get to the window with any of them. I'll double check the prices when I get done and see which ones I like a little bit more than the rest. But yeah, that's how I'm thinking about this one. A couple different looks. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. The bookie says Detroit plus 5.5 and the money line. Okay, we shall see. Indiana team total over for Mark. Michael says over. Give me the Bucks. Give me the Pacers. The Bucks are done. Giannis is going right after the playoffs. Giannis might be up out of there for sure. Didn't see any resistance from the Bucks in that last game. But I will say everybody was on the Clippers the other day too. And after a big win like that, they got steamrolled. I just don't see it for the Bucks though. LJ says he likes TJ McConnell over his 4.5 assists. Pacers team total 113.5. C twice says at Hard Rock. I see 114.5 on Hard Rock right now. I'm looking at it. Maybe my eyes haven't updated. Now, Tariq says Pacers over. Nolly likes over and Pacers. Mark says, what about Holly? I didn't look into Holly specifically. Dom says the supporting cast just isn't the same. That's a fact. They are absolutely not. Kyle Kuzma has been atrocious. That's a fact. His game is absolutely broken. What happened to him? I'm not sure what happened to him, Brian. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just an adjustment that he couldn't make. I mean, he has looked absolutely terrible, though. The bookie says, give me the Bucks plus 7.5. Giannis getting 40 tonight in his last game for the Milwaukee Bucks before he goes to play for LA. It's a hot take. Tobias over his first quarter points. Going back to that last game. Nally says, I'd go over for anyone off the bench for the Bucks and Pacers if the lines are low. Back to the Clippers, J. Dot says. Perfect segue. Let's get into that last game on the board. Clippers are they're actually laying 2 points. So this should say Nuggets +2, not minus +2. That's what the line was last night. Let's see. Right now, 2 is still a number. The total has come down half a point. Looks like 208. Just a flat 208 is the current line. And this was one that I did bet. I am on the Clippers today. Agree with J Dot in the comment section. So I live streamed the game the other day. We watched the whole game on Playback, and it was a couple different things that stood out to me in the game. Well, as I was kind of watching it, the first thing was I don't think the Clippers are going to shoot the basketball that poorly. I think the Nuggets actually caught them slipping. In the game. Just really weren't locked in from the beginning. The Nuggets dominated the first quarter, and in the third quarter specifically, came out, punched the Clippers in the mouth early, 27-22. And I think the Clippers just kind of took their foot off the gas a little bit after dominating win in game number 3. We got to remember they were coming off a 44-point win in game 3. 117-83 in that game, where they absolutely, stifled the Nuggets offense. Their offense looked really good, and then they had some regression. I do think that they're going to win this game. I got future bets on the Clippers as well, plus 1.5 games, and I took them to win the series at plus 150. So I need the Clippers. Hopefully they can cash all 3 tickets. But going back through, like to give you guys some more about the game, I think the Clippers. First of all, I'm not a big believer in Denver's defense. Now, did they play really good defense in that last game? Yes, they absolutely did. They held the Clippers to 44% shooting. The Clippers also only shot 33% from the three-point line. I think we see a little bit of regression here for the Clippers on the offensive end. If you go back and look at it, outside of Kawhi Leonard, he didn't even shoot 50%. We saw a 9 for 15 game for Kawhi in this series. He shot 10 for 22 from the field. I think we see a little bit more efficiency for him. James Harden was only 5 for 11, only had 15 points. Chris Dunn I'm not sure what Ty Lue's going to do with him, but 1 for 9 is not going to cut it. We talked about this in the first quarter when he was just out there laying bricks. 1 for 9 from the field, 1 for 6 from the three-point line. They also didn't get any contributions from their bench, at all. I guess you could say Bogdanovich had 7 points, but Batum was 1 for 6 from the three-point line. I just think we see some regression from the Clippers offense. And even if we don't, we know that the Clippers are a lot better defensive team than the Nuggets. I do think that they, can stifle this offense for the Denver Nuggets as long as they come in locked in. I'm expecting them to do so. Now, Jokic is going to get his. I do think that Jokic has a big game. He had 36, 21, and 18 in that last game. But I kind of expect a little bit of regression from Michael Porter Jr., who had 17 points, Christian Braun, who had 17 points. Jamal Murray only had 13, and he's been struggling all series long, only shooting 5 for 17 from the field in that game, in the last game. But I think we see a little bit of regression. I'm on the Clippers. I know it's not necessarily I don't think it's going to be easy, but I do think the Clippers are the right side in this game. What else was it? I think that was it. It wasn't a lot. I just think the Clippers. I also think Clippers early. We talked about that one as well. I think the Clippers losing the game the way that they did with that Aaron Gordon dunk, or I guess you can say dunk. I think the Clippers are the better team, and I took them. I trust the Clippers more than Denver. Even in Denver, I trust the Clippers more. So I did take the Clippers here. That is the official play. I didn't even look at side total or player props in this one. Let's see what you guys are thinking. Me says Clippers -1.5. My favorite play today. I took the money line just for people who are wondering. Swish says he likes Dunn to bounce back in this one, taking him up and over his points, rebounds, and assists. Sheed also likes the Clips. Norman Powell gonna have a big game, Steven says. Chris Dunn over 2.5 boards. Aaliyah is asking. I'm not sure about his boards specifically. Norman Powell over his threes for LJ. What up, Jay? Dom says he likes the Clippers to score the basketball at 105.5. Did they take their team total over? J-Dot says, who do you think passing more of a threat to OKC? I'm not answering it. I'm trying to stick to the topic for today's game, so I'm not gonna answer that. Adam says he thinks Kawhi 30 points, Jokic triple double, Powell over his 2.5 threes, and Harden over his assists. Okay. Clippers more seasoned, she says. Clippers money line for Tariq as well. Okay, so a lot of Clippers love. DJ Prop says Jamal Murray 2.5 threes for him. Think that's over. Malik says, do I lean over? Man, the pace in the game, and this is the last thing I'm going to say before we jump into a quick recap. The pace in the game really scares me, Malik. I watched the Nuggets go on these really, really big runs, and then all of a sudden they can't score the basketball anymore. You got to remember, if you go back and if you go back to the end of the third quarter, which the Nuggets dominated the third quarter, the Clippers were plus 15 and a half, I think it was, or plus 14 and a half. They probably should have won the game if they, if they go to overtime, they probably win the game because they have all the momentum on their side. Not necessarily saying that they were going to win the game, but they had a really good chance to win the game. The problem is when you think about over, these teams are real. A team can have a 16-point quarter, and you're like, the over is cooked. So I know it's a super low total, 208. I feel like the Nuggets have been playing a little bit more defense. Both of these teams are really good rebounding. I don't think either teams are going to really get out and run. So as much as I would say, do I like the over? I can see the Clippers winning the game with defense. That's one of the reasons why I don't necessarily like playing team total overs. If Denver's going to play even with Denver playing with pace, the game went under in the last one. So, yeah, if the more and more teams get, acclimated with each other, the more and more, the longer the series goes, the more I think under. And that's one of the reasons I'm not going to play it. As far as pace, Game 1 was 91, Game 2 was 93, Game 3 was 89, and Game 4 didn't really pick it up. It was 90.5 possessions per team. Yeah, it's just I don't know, man. It's I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not betting. I don't think I bet over though. I think it'd be a little bit more of an under game for myself. But that's just my thought process. I haven't really been like super sharp on totals later in the series either though. So don't take what I'm saying and take it as word belief. That's just my thought process. All right, let's jump into a quick recap. Like I said, the only thing that I did bet was the Clippers on the money line. Official for me. Clippers. I need the Clippers today in a big way. As far as the other things that we talked about, so we go short list. Some of the ways that I were leaning, some of the things I had in my notes section. Going back to the top, I'll be on Orlando today, plus the 12 if you can still get it. I would also be on Jason Tatum double in that game. As far as Detroit, New York, it would be Detroit early plus the 3, thinking that they can hang tight early. Asir Thompson under 8.5 points. In that game, I think those are the only ways that I was looking in that game. And then Milwaukee, Indiana, I kind of think that with the total this low, I kind of think that it's a little bit more of an over game. But it's still just a lean. Not sure how if I'll even be involved, honestly. Over 220, I think you can. Yeah, I think 221.5 is out there. So I'll go over 221.5 if I had to bet that game. I do think 7.5 is a lot of points. I do think that the Bucks probably get smoked today, though. But even more so, I think Kyle Kuzma still continues to be cardio Kuzma, under 13.5 points plus rebounds. And yeah, that'll be it. Like I said, no player props or thoughts, like burning thoughts on the Clippers and Denver total to be able to play it. So yeah, just one official play for me today. Like I always tell you guys, hopefully this show was helpful and some of my insight was helpful. Always remember to do your own research. Play the plays that make the most sense to you. That's gonna help you sleep well at night. No matter what you see in the comment section, no matter what I say. Yeah, I do got a series bet at them on the Clippers. I got the Clippers twice. I got the Clippers in that video I did 2 Sundays ago. I got the Clippers Clippers to win the series at plus 150. I got the Clippers plus 1.5 games at minus 155 as well. And I got the Clippers in this game. So we'll see how it goes, man. Resources as always are here. Remember, jaXon likes Paolo Banchero under 29.5 points today. Also like Boston and Orlando under 199 as well. Even though that total has dropped to 197 now. But yeah, referral codes for all of these: Outlier, jaXon, Moneyballer, OddsJam. All of those are in the description. I appreciate you all for tapping in as always. Do me a favor on the way out. Hit the like button, share the show, all that good stuff, man. I do appreciate you all. Enjoy your Tuesday, and I'll catch you guys in the morning. I'm out.